Michigan and Indiana.
All right, thank you very much. And an impressive first half for the Michigan Wolverines. Standing by down at the sidelines with Cam Cameron, the Indiana head coach, is our Jim Barton. Jim?
A competitive first quarter for the Indiana Hoosiers, and then in the second quarter things kind of unraveled and the wheels fell off. What happened?
Well, you're right. It unraveled and the wheels fell off, but you know, they're a good football team. They really are. They're a good young football team. So we're going to face these guys the next couple of years, almost the same guys. So fumble, all that stuff. I don't know how much that really had to do with it, honestly. They're a good football team. Now we got to respond. We're going to play a bunch of young guys in the second half. We're going to find out a heck of a lot about this football team, this football program, but hey, we know where we're at. We know where we're at.
Offensively, what's on the agenda for the second half? What do you want to...
Well, it's the same thing. People have blitzed us a little bit earlier this year and given us problems, and give them credit. They see the same film everybody else sees. They come after us until we protect, until we block. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. I mean, there's no magic in this deal. You got to block, you got to protect.
All right, thanks, Cam.
Well, no question, an impressive first half for the Michigan Wolverines here at Indiana.
I think you wanted me to stop there,
and if
you
you take a look at some of the aspects of the first half of play, we thought that perhaps Indiana would invest a little bit more in play calling in the running game earlier in this ball game, but they came out kind of throwing the football.
Well, they came up throwing the ball as much as they could. When they didn't have some success, they went to the run. They didn't have some success there, and then it was real tough for them to do either one.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights of the first half, and really what showed forth for Michigan defensively. They got some pressure up front, Randy.
And they're doing it with just their front four. They're not having to blitz. They're not having to bring everybody after the quarterback in order to get that pressure.
And what Michigan did so well offensively in the first half of play was make judicious use of the screen pass.
And this has been a big play for Michigan. Just a little screen pass. They have turned this into some big plays offensively, and it has set up some touchdowns, getting the backs involved in the passing game.
The Phillips first half highlights, and now to the Prestone first half statistics. Take a look at some of the numbers in the first half of this ball game.
Well, the one that really steps out right off the bat is the rushing yards for Indiana, -6. They needed to come in and run the football. -6, that's not going to get it done.
All right, and again, as you take a look at the time of possession, heavily in favor of Michigan. They had no turnovers in the first half of play, despite holding possession for 17 minutes and 40 seconds. So the Wolverines got done what they needed to and felt they had to do here today.
Absolutely. 46 plays to 25 plays. That's real dominance.
We're underway in the second half. And the Hoosiers will take it out of the 20-yard line. Leaders. Take a look at it. Hogan 10 carries, just 22 yards rushing after the big day at Wisconsin last week. And Michigan, pretty good balance in their attack. And Greasy, a decent day throwing the football, hitting 14 of 22 in that first half.
When both running backs, for one for Indiana, one for Michigan, are your leading receivers, it tells you where the quarterbacks are going with the ball.
And a first down for the Indiana Hoosiers. Football just at the 20-yard line. Rogers, a swing pass out into the flat, and he's got Gall across the 25 out to the 27-yard line, where he's got a gain of about 8 yards. So Chris Gall, who figures prominently in the Indiana passing attack out of the backfield. Indiana, its first half possessions.
Boy, Wayne, you take a look at that. 4 plays, 3 plays, 3 plays, 3 plays. Not many first downs at all. Of course, the fumble in there, but when you don't get anything going and you're 3 and out, that tells you why Michigan had so much success offensively. Indiana's defense just got worn down.
Second down at about 2 yards to go for Indiana as we get underway in the second half here at Bloomington. Rogers missed his first man and gets it out to the tight end for a first down. Randy Maxwell, sophomore from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Sam Sword makes the stop, first down for the Hoosiers at the 33-yard line of Indiana.
Nice job by Jay Rogers looking downfield. Nothing there. He comes back off of his primary receiver, throws a nice ball to Maxwell, not trying to get 15, 20, 25 yards on each pass play. That's unrealistic. Just take the shorter stuff, try and get into a rhythm.
And Randy, I think you're right. What they'll try to do is run the elements of their offense and try to really use this second half to do some execution here, to execute a few plays. And here's another one. We expected the tight end to play a fairly prominent role, and Randy Maxwell catches another pass. This one out near the 40-yard line. A gain of almost 8 yards. Marcus Ray, the safety, made the stop for Michigan We expected to see the tight end more in the passing game. We didn't see it in the first half, but we see it in the first couple of plays of the second half.
Well, when you've got Charles Woodson and Andre Weathers, the two cornerbacks, they do a pretty good job at taking the outside away from you. You're going to have to attack the middle with your tight end and with your running backs.
Second down and about 2 yards to go. And now they get Hogan. Hogan turned back at about the 41-yard line, gain of barely a yard. The lack of production in the Indiana ground game in the first half underscored the fact that really they only called 10 running plays to Hogan, who was coming off a huge afternoon up in Wisconsin a week ago. Hogan carried 34 times for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns at Madison, Wisconsin last week. Third down.
Haven't been many holes today, though, for Hogan to run through.
Indiana 0 for 7 on third down conversions, but it's 3rd and 1. Little play action, and the pass thrown away. Gall, the intended receiver, well covered by Ray. And Jim Barber, what do you have on the checkup of the Michigan linebacker Eric Mays?
Well, Wayne, it is the problem with the left knee. It is a significant sprain, and this time the Michigan team doctors say they have scheduled an MRI tomorrow in Ann Arbor. Obviously, he will not return today for the rest of the second half.
Hopefully that MRI will be negative when they get the test back tomorrow, and Eric Mays will be back in action before this season is out. 4th down, Indiana going for it again, and maybe a procedure problem against the Hoosiers. Either that or someone from Michigan jumped off sides, and Rob Arenas came across and made contact. And let's see. Apparently this one's going against Michigan.
Prior to the snap, offside, on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
See if we can see if the nose guard jumps off here.
Take a look at Rogers and see if he gets them to jump off with his voice. It looked like there wasn't any movement, no head bob or anything, but I think with the couple of linemen for Michigan moving, listening to the cadence that time, jumping when the ball wasn't being snapped. Nice job by Rogers doing what Greasy has been effective with earlier today.
It's really an art form, isn't it? The cadence and drawing a defense off sides as you switch up your calls. Rogers trying to make a play, able to get it away. And Michigan again brings pretty good pressure with its front. That time James Hall in on the quarterback. Rob Arenas was also pushing the pocket.
Take a look. Michigan this time coming with some linebackers up through. Hall comes through untouched. Rogers does a nice job of just stepping to the side to avoid him and giving himself an alley to throw that ball away.
Hall is the rush linebacker. In many defenses he'd be called a defensive end, but he's listed as a linebacker for the Wolverines. 2nd and 10 now for Indiana. The football across their 45. And again the short drop and the slant to the freshman O.J. Connor. Connor to the Michigan 46-yard line. O.J. Connor on a gain of about 8 yards. Andre Weathers made the stop.
It doesn't take a lot when you haven't been very successful to get your confidence back. These are just the quick 2-3 step drops. Throw some things. When you haven't had a lot of success, now you have a couple of completed passes. Now when you have a couple of good things, your confidence will go.
O.J. Connor came into this afternoon's game with 13 receptions. Browning, another freshman in motion. And Hogan gets the call, and close to the first down just inside the 45-yard line. Turned back by Tommy Hendricks in that Michigan defense.
This is a good example, Wayne, of what Cam Cameron has told us. You can have all the innovation and all the magical things in the world, but football really comes down to the blocking and the tackling and the catching and the running. And whatever you come up with, you still have to execute, and that's what he's trying to instill the second half today, is execute the plays.
Another 4th down call for Indiana. This time 4th and about 1. Inside the Michigan 45. Double tights on the line. Rogers had Gall open underneath the coverage of Weathers and would have had a first down. The pass a little too tall for the fullback. Cameron not happy with that throw at all, apparently. So the Michigan offense will head back onto the field, and Indiana's defense, which was worn down in that first half of play, returns for the first time here in the second half. 11:06 to go, third quarter in Indiana, Michigan Beacon. Wayne Larrabee, Randy Wright, Jim Barber back in Bloomington, Indiana. Michigan takes over, first down, just short of its 45, and Brian Griese at quarterback. It's the pass out to Charles Woodson. Woodson cut down from behind by Damian Gregory, but a first down for the Michigan Wolverines into Hoosier territory just outside the 35.
I told you they'd go back and give Woodson another chance. This time runs a nice route. Good protection for Griese, and just because they're ahead 31-0, they're not going to get out of the rhythm of their offense either. Nice pass right to Woodson. Does a good job coming back to the ball. Then he's always a threat whenever you get him in the open field with his hands on the ball.
Gain of 20 yards, and the Wolverines to the 35 of Indiana. And the handoff to the running back, and that's Chris Floyd running hard off the flank of the offense. Kywin Supernaw got kicked in the stomach as he made the tackle on that play. Boy, these Michigan backs are rugged.
One thing we talked about with Indiana is they will always play hard. You're down 31-0. That defensive line, Zapp there coming from his linebacker position, plays like a defensive lineman, continuing to come hard, and we've seen Griese take a few hits today.
That indeed, but Griese has made the plays too, hasn't he?
He has stood in the pocket, thrown the ball, knowing he's going to get hit, taken the hit, but more times than not, it's been a pretty accurate pass.
Griese on second down. There's the screen. Howard on the wing. Howard to the 20-yard line of the first down. Make it the 19 is where they'll spot it, and that's a gain of about 13 yards.
This is a play Indiana ought to become fairly familiar with because Michigan has run it a lot today. A screen again being set up by the quarterback and the running back. The running back has to let the line go by him, then he can turn. Then he does a nice job of just catching it and running to the open field.
When you see and you take a look at Griese's numbers, I mean, this guy is an exceptionally accurate quarterback. This season hitting almost 70% of his passes. First down. This one was tipped, it appeared, and it's up for grabs, and Supernaw almost intercepted it at the goal line. Penalty marker down. Griese appeared to get hit, Randy, as he let that one go.
I think you're right. He had somebody right in his face, and I think he got his arm hit.
This flag, there was no foul.
So they pick up the flag.
One thing, Wayne, that's been a little misleading is Michigan has thrown a lot to their backs. We saw Griese's statistics as you see him taking the hit right there to the arm. 69% completion. They throw most of the time downfield, so that completion percentage is really a pretty solid when you look at the amount of times they do throw the ball downfield.
That's Chris Howard out at the top of your screen. And they've got a slot to the bottom. Chris Floyd going wide. Michigan able to get to the outside here today, Randy, and that's certainly a testament to their speed they have.
Well, they knew coming in. If we go back, look at Brian Griese there this year, almost 69% ahead of some pretty good quarterbacks. Todd Collins, Jim Harbaugh, Elvis Gerbach. Hard to believe Michigan's got 3 quarterbacks starting in the NFL these days.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be Harbaugh was really the first Michigan quarterback that got a shot to play a lot in the NFL.
He really changed the perception of the Michigan quarterback, I think.
Third down now for the Wolverines. Third and about 8. Griese in the shotgun. Blitz is on. Griese hit as he throws the end zone off the hands of Aaron Shea, the tight end out of Ottawa, Illinois.
Well, you see Griese getting up there. Boy, did he take a shot that time. Stood in the pocket and delivered a beautiful pass just over the outreached hands of Aaron Shea. Take a look at this. He sees it coming. He stands in there, takes the hit. That was a beautifully thrown pass.
I believe that was Jabbar Robinson who racked him up. Now a field goal attempt coming up for Craig Baker. This would be a 35-yard field goal attempt. Out of the hold of Brian Griese. John Jansen with the snap. Everything is clean, and the kick is away. It is good. 9:41 to go. Third quarter. Michigan tacks 3 more onto its lead. It's 34-0 Wolverines. Back in Bloomington, Indiana. Michigan impressive thus far. 34-0 over Indiana. And Jay Feely set to resume the game. And he hasn't had a kickoff return yet today. That mark stays intact. My goodness. Studio 66, Mike Gleason, got news from Michigan State?
That's right, Wayne. The Spartans are starting to light it up. Todd Schultz rolls to his right, finds Brad Ranka wide open. Third touchdown pass for Schultz on the day. Michigan State up 28-0, and that is your GTE cut into the game. Wayne?
Well, it's homecoming up at East Lansing, and Michigan State is rolling, so you know the folks will be having a good time up there tonight. Meanwhile, it's homecoming here in Indiana, but the Hoosier fans haven't had much to cheer about. The corner of Memorial Stadium, where the Michigan fans are, has been very active, however, as the Wolverines have piled up a big lead. Chris Gall in motion across the offense. And coming back for it through the hands of O.J. Connor as Jay Rogers delivered the pass, and Connor points to himself, says, hey, that was my fault. I should have had that one.
Yeah, that was a catchable ball. You know, Wayne, there are still some things that Cam Cameron and Indiana can get out of this game. You're down 34-0. He knows what he's got. He knows where his team needs to go, and he will always look at the positive side of it. First of all, he wants to see if his team quits or not. He has told us that his team has played hard every game in every position. He wants to make sure on both sides of the ball they continue to do that. Also, he likes the pressure that his team gets put under and the expectations being raised. He wants them to perform no matter what the score is.
Out of the eye. And again, Rogers off play action. He's got Gall. He fumbles the football and out of bounds before Michigan can retain possession. Or hang on. They're going to bring it back to the spot where it was fumbled, because it was fumbled forward and no one had possession as it carried out of bounds. So it'll be Indiana football to the 25 off a gain of 5.
This is the kind of thing that will upset Cam Cameron more than anything else. You keep your focus, you keep your concentration, you play the game like it's 0-0. Those kinds of self-induced errors, the fumbles, the offsides, the foolish penalties, those are things that will drive a coach crazy when he's got a young team. You need to eliminate those things before you can become competitive.
3rd down and 5 for the Hoosiers. Rogers on his own. Take it out of bounds near the 27-yard line. Gain of a couple of yards, but he's short of the first down. Dhani Jones closed quickly on the play. We have seen demonstration, Randy, of Michigan speed both on offense and defense here this afternoon.
And you're seeing it from a lot of different players at every position. We've seen it in the defensive backfield. We've seen it at linebackers. We've seen it with the pass rush on offense. You've seen it from a variety of different backs. So it's just something you can't replace, is that team speed.
Setkowski's punt to Russell Shaw. And it is a booming kick through the hands of Shaw. Picks it up near the 1. Shaw out across the 10-yard line, and down he goes at the 12. So Michigan will start this drive deep in its own territory. 8:40 to go in the 3rd, and the Wolverines beginning to clear out this homecoming crowd in Indiana. If you're Indiana, you don't want to quit, even though the game is out of hand right now. And watch evidence on this punt return just a moment ago. Randy, there's the coverage coming down as the freshman O.J. Spencer. Watch him overrun the play, and now look what happens. Back to make the stop.
Comes back and makes the stop. Those are things that a coach instills in his players. You play hard till the final whistle, and we're seeing evidence of that.
Michigan on the ground. Clarence Williams out across the 15-yard line to the 18. Escorted to the chalk marks in rather rude fashion by Jabbar Robinson, as you would expect. Let's take a look at the Amoco Big Ten leaders, brought to you by Amoco. You expect more from a leader. Tavian Banks is at Ohio State today. We're going to find out a lot about him and the Iowa team. Billy Dicken off to that good start for Purdue. Brian Musso is one of the few bright spots for Northwestern thus far this season. 2nd down at about 4. Gain of 6 on the previous play for Michigan. And off the flank is Ray Jackson, and he has stood up and driven back. And there again, pursuit by the Indiana defense. And you got to admire the fact that they don't appear to be a team that's quit or shut it down here despite the score.
Oh, that was something that Cam Cameron and John Haycock, the defense coordinator, both told us they have not seen that, and you won't see it again with the Cam Cameron team. And so far, they're going till the whistle blows. And Michigan's got a new quarterback in there now, Tom Brady, number 10. This is a guy that they are very, very high on.
Brady out of San Mateo, California. Sophomore has really come on. 3rd down and almost 10 yards to go. Brady sets up a screen pass. Williams trying to outrun Robinson, and Robinson rides him down. That middle linebacker for the Indiana Hoosiers has been all over the field, and that time he caught up with a fleet running back, Clarence Williams. Brought him down after a gain of about 3 or 4 yards. It is 4th down for Michigan.
Robinson doing a nice job that time, recognizing the play early and getting out there before Williams could get his momentum going.
I see all of the kids who dressed for Michigan here this afternoon. Jason Vincent, a walk-on. Corey Sargent was going to be the punter for Michigan this year, but he has a bad back, so Jason Vincent, the walk-on, has gotten the call, and he's punted very well for the Wolverines coming into today's game. And a hold up here on the field, and I'm trying to think if the officials called for a timeout with 7:14 to go.
Talking a few minutes ago about Tom Brady, the backup quarterback for Michigan. Yesterday, talking to Mike DeBoer, have you ever seen an offensive coordinator, his face light up when he was talking about a backup quarterback? He just thinks this guy is really going to be a player. And as a sophomore and Greasy's a senior, Brady's got an excellent opportunity to take over the reins of quarterback for the next couple of years. And DeBoer just thinks this guy could really develop and become a good, solid leader and a good player. He's got great size, 6'5", 225 pounds. Be a real player.
Don't forget they've got Scott Dreisbach as a junior as well. He'll be back next year, you would expect. We'll see. Michigan's got depth in that backfield, that's for sure, both at running back and quarterback. A low snap. Vincent gets his kick away. Joey Ellums makes the catch at the 44, and he's going nowhere. Excellent coverage by the Michigan special teams. And let's go to the sidelines. Jim Barber.
Thank you, Wayne. Katie Weismiller heads up the women's team here at Indiana in volleyball, which has been very impressive this year, unbeaten until last night. You were honored at halftime. Congratulations on this exceptional 15-0 start.
Thank you. It's been a great season. It's been a lot of fun for the players. It's been a competitive season. Last night we were upset by the Wisconsin Badgers, but the Big Ten's a tough place to play, and we're very encouraged with what we have. A lot of young players.
I imagine ladies got a thrill out of getting a chance to meet the crowd at halftime and then meeting them as well.
Absolutely. You know, it was great to come out here. We've had a lot of support from the community, from the fans, and that's really our 7th player on the field.
All right, thank you, Katie. Indiana 15-1 in women's volleyball. Let's get back to Wayne and Randy.
Thank you very much, Jim. Dwayne Hogan on an 8-yard run. 2nd down coming up for Indiana. Let's get back to Mike Gleason at Studio 66.
Well, Wayne, Pittsburgh and Temple. Terry Murphy's having a big day. This is his 10th catch on the afternoon, but he coughs up the football once he gets hit. Milana Adams of Temple picks it up. Adams also has a pick. Temple still leads 14-10 over Pittsburgh. Back to Bloomington with Wayne and Randy.
Indiana on 2nd down calls another running play out to the 50-yard line, where the Hoosiers are about a yard short of that 1st down. And getting the call, Glenn Johnson, number 33 in your picture. Johnson missed last week's game, had an ankle injury. Wayne Larrivee along with Randy Wright and Jim Barber. It's good to have you with us on this homecoming weekend in central Indiana. Big Ten football, Memorial Stadium in Bloomington. The Indiana Hoosiers and the Michigan Wolverines. One thing you could say about the Hoosiers, they didn't duck anybody on homecoming.
There are no ducks in this conference.
No. They took on the Michigan Wolverines. They were usually homecoming, you get somebody you can really beat like a drum, but that wasn't the case here. Little option play here, and Johnson gets the call, and it appears he's got a 1st down or close to it, just across the 50-yard line.
Glenn Johnson is one of those backs that really had some playing time earlier. He got hurt, and that gave Dwayne Hogan the opportunity to step up last week against Wisconsin. And with such a strong performance, Hogan has solidified his #1 spot. This is what you can do with a mobile quarterback. You can run the option. He does a nice job of pitching the ball out there. Johnson does a nice job picking up just the 1 yard that he needed.
So it's a 1st down for the Indiana Hoosiers. Well, I'll tell you, this Michigan defense, though, Randy, rock solid, aren't they? Very few mistakes. They've got a lot of changes, a lot of new people in there right now. Going over the top and well overthrown. Jay Rogers intended for the freshman wide receiver O.J. Connor. Mike Gleason, what do you have on Florida State, Miami?
Oh, Wayne, Bobby Bowden has gone to the bench, but the results are the same. Freshman Travis Minor gets in for the touchdown. It's now Florida State 30, Miami nothing. Wayne?
Florida State impressive, but so has Michigan been here this afternoon. And Jay Rogers, 114 yards passing. Last week, of course, he had over 200 yards passing. Had 408 yards passing a few games ago against Ball State. Rogers waits for the pattern open over the middle and overshot the freshman, and the interception, will it stand? A diving grab made. It's going to be Michigan football. Deidrean Taylor makes the interception on the overthrow of O.J. Connor by the quarterback, Jay Rogers.
One of the times where Rogers has plenty of time and just overthrows the receiver. You can't throw the ball high or late over the middle. When you do, you give the safeties too much of a chance to react. Just a high pass right there. Taylor did a nice job of reading it and making a nice catch.
So Tom Brady at quarterback for Michigan on first down. Anthony Thomas out of play near the 31-yard line, gain of a yard or two.
When you were talking about that Michigan defense and how solid they are, and I think that last interception by Taylor is a good example of how everybody is playing very well. That's why they're playing so well as a unit. Sure, they've got Charles Woodson, who's their star, but other than that, everybody's capable of making a play, and when you do that, you can continue that for the entire season. You're going to be very, very good.
The defense in the cool zone at the moment. It's been a warm afternoon, temperature in the 80s here in Bloomington. Second down, about 9 to go. And Thomas again. We're going to get a good look at a lot of the young Michigan backs on this football team. And now a late flag is Joey King got into it with a Michigan defender, or a Michigan running back, I believe it was. I believe he and Demetrius Smith went at it briefly. The flags came flying. John Perry will get it straightened out and tell us about it. So personal foul both ways, offsetting penalties.
When you talk about the offsetting penalties, that happens after the play here is a little pushing and shoving and unnecessary. Not very harmful, but still unnecessary.
It was not Smith, the running back, but it was anyway, the Wolverines now on third down. Third down at about 8. Brady got a man wide open and got him for a first down out near the midfield marker. The reception made on the play by Kevin Bryant. Patrick Shaw had the coverage. It's a first down.
Nice job by Brady showing his arm strength. When you got plenty of time in the pocket, he whips that ball out there. That ball gets all the way out to the corner in a hurry. And say Brady doesn't have many questions about his arm strength.
Wolverines at the midfield marker. Motion from Aaron Wright. Anthony Thomas and Jason Zapp met him in the gap and brought him down after a gain of about 5 yards to the 45-yard line of Indiana. Coming up on 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
When you talked earlier about Michigan giving their young players a chance, when you've got Chris Howard and Chris Floyd, your starting backfield, both seniors. Clarence Williams, he's a junior. Even some of the wideouts. Russell Saw, he's a senior. Ty Street's a junior. You got to get those young players an opportunity to carry the ball and play when they can.
On second down at about 5. Thomas, a big hole to get through this time. Robinson missed him. McGrath brought him down, saving a touchdown. Anthony Thomas, when he gets rambling, I'll tell you what, he is not only hard to catch, but hard to bring down. A 19-yard gain to a first down.
Nice big hole. Good job of blocking by the offensive line. Little trap again. They bring the guard and they bring the back over. And when you get Thomas going full speed before contact, and he as you said, he's tough to catch. He's tough to bring down from the front and from behind.
Football near the 25-yard line. And Thomas, once again, this time is met at the flank. And Guglia and Mandina make the stop for Indiana. So it'll be second down upcoming for Michigan. Loss of a couple of yards.
boy, it just makes it so much easier to run when you get some blocking. The play before, huge hole. Thomas breaks through for 19 yards. That time, nice job by Indiana's defensive line. Really wasn't a hole there.
Second down. It's a little bit more than 11 yards to go. Michigan on the drive once again. Bryant in motion. McCall this time. Had a hole for a moment, and a good move made by Damian Gregory to bring him down. So it'll be a third down for Michigan. He might have gotten a yard on that play. Third and about 10. If you're the Michigan Wolverines, this has been a very impressive performance when you consider you're coming in on the road. It's your first road game of the season. You were efficient in the first half offensively. You took advantage of your opportunities. Didn't turn the ball over. A lot of positives for this Wolverine team as they head toward the lion's share of the Big Ten schedule. Third down, and Brady over the middle. And Marcus Knight makes the catch, but he's short of the first down at the 23-yard line of Indiana.
What you haven't seen Michigan do today, Wayne, is the mistake, the turnover, the interception. You haven't seen the dropped balls, those things that veteran players do. And Indiana will get there as their players gain that experience.
Good coverage right here.
Good coverage. You'll give him the short game because it's 3rd and 11. Once they know where the ball's going and he catches it, come up and make the tackle.
Greg Baker will try a 40-yard field goal. That's about his range. His long this year is 37. Pretty much a straight-on kick, and Baker has enough leg strength, and he's got it on the money. So Craig Baker adds another 3 points to the Michigan total. It's 37-0 Wolverines with a minute 31 to go in this third quarter. Now let's take a look at our NTB Students of the Game, brought to you by NTB National Tire and Battery. We're everything you want, nothing you expect. Brian Greasy, the Michigan quarterback, 5th-year senior, and Aaron Warnicki, strong safety for Indiana.
Aaron Warnicki is a player that has more starts than anybody for this Indiana defense. He was strong safety, came in this year with 32 starts, but yet he hasn't been a starter this year. He was a backup strong safety, and just this week they moved him to outside linebacker. Said his work ethic has been wonderful, and for a guy that has started in the past, not this year, he's setting a good example for some of those younger players.
One of the few Hoosiers that has that kind of experience. Indiana's current starting lineup coming into today's game started a combined 35 games prior to this 1997 season. Warnicki no longer a starter on that defense, but has played a prominent role coming off the bench. Once again, Jay Feely. Let's see if he gives him an opportunity to return a kick. Nope. He's going to boom another one through the end zone. So Indiana will take over at the 20. Scoring drive by the Michigan Wolverines. Their second of this third quarter. Second time they've settled for a field goal. 9 plays, 48 yards, took 3.5 minutes off the clock. And Baker, the 40-yard field goal, his longest of the season, and his third field goal today.
Indiana's defense forcing 2 field goals this quarter instead of letting Michigan come down and get the ball in the end zone.
Michigan next week will take on Northwestern up at the Big House.
I think there's a little revenge on their mind after the last 2 seasons.
No question. Northwestern has won close ball games against Michigan the last 2 seasons. Jay Rogers still in at quarterback. Randy Maxwell in motion, and Rogers looking that way. Now Rogers flushed. Gets it away to O.J. Connor. Connor brought down short of the line of scrimmage. Loss of 2. William Peterson made the stop for Michigan. And to get inside the huddle of your favorite Big Ten team, go online at www.big10.org for all the football and conference news from around the Big Ten. That's something that Randy Wright does often on that computer. You're constantly in the huddle, aren't you, in the Big Ten?
You got more dots and more W's than that little saying than I've said in 3 years.
But Jim Barber and I are still trying to figure out the W's and the dots and where they go. Second down at about 12. Rogers, little dump off pass. Glenn Johnson nowhere to go, and Michigan's fresh troops on defense hem him in after a gain of a couple of yards. Back to Jim Barber. Jim.
Thank you, Wayne. Brian Greasy done for the rest of the day because of Michigan's 37-0 lead. He has a strained muscle on the right side. Took a couple of big hits during the game. He was limping as he took to the sidelines. Continued to play. Obviously won't play the rest of the way, and the docs say he will be okay.
All right, Jim. And Brian Greasy good afternoon of work for him. Take a look, career leaders. Well,
this is Wayne from a guy that didn't even start last year.
Third down and a little bit more than 9 yards to go, and running for his life is Jay Rogers, and down he goes short of the line of scrimmage, a loss of a yard or two. Third period has wound to a close. Michigan outscored Indiana 6-0 in the third quarter to add to a 31-0 halftime lead. It's 30.